Hi ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Genshin Impact. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about the state of the game, and it's been a hot minute since we've actually done that. Well, kind of. We always talk about it on streams, we always kind of sprinkle it in here or there. But yeah, essentially, if you guys have not heard about the insanity that's currently going on, let me do a quick recap. Essentially, there's been a kind of a stifling thing underneath the community for a long time, and it's kind of a mix mash of people not being happy with the game, being tired of hunting chests and whatnot, and being tired of the events that are only 5 minutes, as well as coupled with miHoYo seeming to give less and less rewards throughout the events to come. So just basically an underlying frustration, and this kind of came to a header when, of course, there was no anniversary rewards, where people got really frustrated, or at least there were 10 wishes, which for a game that made billions, it seemed like it was just kind of a weird thing, as well as miHoYo not communicating with their audience that, like, people say that's not enough, and they didn't reply. And people didn't like ball, and they didn't reply. They never justified their actions or explained to them the new change of pace for trying to limit the new upcoming characters so that they don't have imbalance like Ganyu. Never explained any of that. If that is to what they were doing. Same thing with Kokomi, same thing with everybody. If they were preparing to explain to us that they're going to usher us into a state of the game in which healers will be viable again, then that'd be something that we want to hear, essentially. So to boil it all down, bunch of stuff underneath the depths of Genshin Impact. We're slowly starting to bubble, and then the anniversary rewards seemingly set it all off. Of course, it might just be that some people just really want rewards. Sure, I think we've gotten many times where the rewards haven't been stellar. Maybe it's because in other games that there's a mass expectation for like a year of playing, especially for an amazing, unbelievable, incredible year for a video game, such as this one, which has just made an exuberant amount of money. People are even more like, why? What the heck's the 10 wishes? Like, that's nothing. It's literally nothing. You get more of that than just by playing the events for like a couple months, you know, which is but rough, brutal, all that. But ladies and gentlemen, this is recorded after everything happened, so I'm sorry to bait you out like that. But recently, well, this is not the full story, but this is in the future enough to where I know a little bit about what's to come. Anyways, so basically, why this is relevant and why this is important is because of the community's unrest. They started just disliking the shit out of every tweet that miHoYo made. They started complaining on the Discord, which is really pretty heavy in terms of the fandom, and then on the Genshin Reddit and such. So just a constancy of like, what's with this? Like, why are the anniversary rewards so terrible? And largely, and this is the thing, I think this is the overarching question, was the thing that happened planned from the start, or was this miHoYo pivoting when finally people found the right button to push to make them act? Because it was everywhere. Everyone, every streamer, every Twitch chat, every comment section, everyone was like, what is the deal with no rewards and all of these other problems? Because of course, when it's the final straw, it's not just the straw that broke, it's all of the straws that were breaking before it that come to the surface. Anyways, so bottom line is what people started doing outside of the vast slew of just comments and just voicing that they were not happy with the various things that we just communicated. But finally, and this is to me, I think definitely how you get a company to act, is people, the consumer, started going to the review sites, and they started what is called dislike bombing or whatever, or tanking the rating of a game. This is a big, I've seen other content creators kind of talk about this. This is a big thing. This is like a big bad thing. If you have any idea about how like marketing, anything like that with business operations, how you sell, is all of that is super important. Is what most people look at, especially when you're doing business, of how a product is doing. It's kind of like the same thing as we made X amount of money. Well, our game won Game of the Year, so we're going to put that on every single copy of the game because that's what people see, that's what people notice, that's a high button marketing push, all that stuff. So when you tank a game from being like almost a perfect star game, it was about 4.6 or something like that, the community got it all the way down to 2.6 or 1.9, which is to say a very bad rated app. on the Google Play Store, and I don't know how it was on the Apple Store. Regardless, a lot of the reviews didn't seem like they were not valid. Like, a lot of the things were saying this game has mass issues with endgame, this doesn't have this. Like, a lot of them weren't just like, adversaries suck ass, and they ran away. No. So there were actual people, and this is the coolest part when you're reading these reviews, is that it wasn't just people saying the anniversaries rewards were shit, it was everything else. It was the fact that the anniversary rewards are not rewarding their player base as well, and they're not addressing the community's dislikement for certain things. They're just not being communicative. And also, where's the endgame content, and what about this, and why is this character in this weird place, and their character is perfectly fine? Like, it's just weird. And there was just these constant things of, again, the straw that broke the camel's back. But, unlike the subsequent straws, this is the straw that I think was holding together MiHoYo's, not everything, but something. Again, I think it's insane how valuable your rating is in the App Store. And now people are saying that this means that the App Store is going to pull Genshin. Hell no, it's not going to happen. It makes so much money for Apple and Google. That's insane. But what it would do is fuck with their search traffic, and that's a big aspect of marketing and money and everything, etc. All that stuff. So, needless to say, that's the story thus far. Sorry for taking such long to recap. But after all of that, and I think, and it's funny, and it could just be the timing of everything, but I don't know if it could, just because that is such a hot button thing for big corporations, is stuff like that. Same thing is reason why Genshin hates leakers so much, is because theoretically it messes up with their marketing strategy. That's a fucking big pooba of the marketing strategies when your game is rated fucking 3 or a 1. That's a big thing. That's a big not good thing. It's a big reaction level. They're already like investing so much money into fucking up leakers and like suing them to shit, which is a huge expense for a legal team. It's a penny compared to what the game's making, which is also why people are like, well, why can't we get a reward if you're making so much money? Yeah. So this is all kind of feeding into this weird ecosystem of like, of course this happened. How could you not see this happening? Anyways, there's a good silver lining. That button that people now know to push, which is the little bit of a oopsie for MiHoYo, that button got a response. Well, it could have got a response. It could have also been, this is probably what MiHoYo will say, that this was always what they were planning on doing, but they wanted to have some surprise, similar to Hu Tao, where they, even though everyone knew about her, they didn't want anybody to know about her, which is also why leaks are somewhat good, is because what does it do? It makes people comfortable and satisfied with what's to come in the future. Because if you don't have roadmaps or anything like that, it can make people excited or hopeful, or at least stay on the ship when it starts rocking. But if there's nothing like that, then people are just thinking, oh shit. Like, so much as people love surprises, people like the idea of a surprise, but not the fact that when you're heading down a waterfall and it's just like a fucking steep fall and you're on a boat, you're not like, yeah, I like the surprise, maybe just we'll get saved, and someone says, actually it's a 2-foot drop, my guy, it's actually fine. If no one says that, then people are like, we're gonna fucking die. So panic. So as much as people like surprises, not when it's in instances like this, when people are ready to jump ship. There's a silver lining. So MiHoYo, and this is 1 of 4. So we know what one of the rewards are. So recently, and it's not in game right now, I'm not sure if I'm showing you guys gameplay of just anything, or if I'm showing you guys my actual screen, but regardless, if we go over to our mail, I don't have it, but people in the EU servers do. And essentially it's going to be a mail piece that gives you special wings, which is awesome. And also it gives you 400 Primo Gems. Again, it's still not that many. Okay, it costs a lot for a single wish. A single wish is 160. So the 400 or 500 Primo Gems isn't even a 10 pull, but it's a couple pulls, and maybe at the end of it, it might be like 2 10 pulls, like 20 10 pulls, or sorry, 20 pulls in total, or maybe it would be 30 pulls in total. So yeah, to me, like, as much as I'm like, oh shit, here we go, guys, we're starting to get some stuff, we're starting to get cooking. Look at us. That's nice. And in fact, based on how this video pans out, I might actually have the special wings. So we know that one of the rewards is some Primo Gems and some wings. Some cool, like, a venti harp, kind of like metallic looking wings, which is cool. Looks like a venti's, like a piano, like an old fashioned piano, orchestral kind of thing in the form of a wings. So they're mostly steel, but kind of like the bagpipe kind of thing. Getting a little offset. To me, this is actually not a bad idea. Like, it's purely cosmetic. That's fun. But also, so here's the other thing. So yes, they are giving us rewards. I have no idea what the other 3 are. People are really hoping, and this is what I was hoping from the very beginning of all of this. Whenever I heard what could Genshin do that could reward the players, but also incentivize them wishing on banners, and all that. Especially for people who've been playing for such a long time, that would both incentivize people to come into the game and be rewarded for coming into the game and spending in the game, but also rewarding for people who've already spent in the game. To me, I've always thought the best thing, and maybe this is harder to code than I think, but it would be to give people one 5-star constellation unlock from wherever you are at. So if you're at nothing, then you'll get this first one. And then like 2 or 3 4-star constellation unlocks, maybe even just 1 or 2. Probably 2 would be just the right amount. But I don't know, to me that would be fantastic, because you would still have to get to the characters. But it would help you when you finally do find a character, you can full send that character at least a little bit more. And a lot of the constellations are not insanely broken, especially when you first start, like the first 2 constellations. The first 2 constellations are usually somewhat the best. But yeah, it's not like the 5th constellation that makes the character completely unhinged. So to me, it wouldn't be an absolutely broken nonsense thing for that to happen. Now, apparently, I don't know, we don't know yet, but thus far, it looks like we're getting maybe, instead of 10 wishes, 20 wishes. Maybe a little bit more than that, hopefully. And we're getting some cosmetic, potentially just cosmetic upgrades. Now, we have no idea what else is that. They could theoretically still do that, give us like some sort of special unlock crystal, maybe. But I don't know. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Is right now, we know that there's more to come. So that's nice. The bad news is that we're in the same spot we were in, which is we don't know. The good news is that we know that there's something coming. So it's not just like we're getting nothing. It's like we can be hopeful for what we'll get. And yes, I'm happy that we're getting something. I'm not the most happy that it's purely cosmetic and not like, yeah, I mean, theoretically you could argue we're getting the ability to wish and get something powerful, but at the same time, just from the first payout of Primo Gems, it didn't seem like we're getting any more than like 20 to 30 pulls, which is not enough to get something that you could really use. You could just get back-to-back shitty weapons or back-to-back the opposite characters you want, which may just be the shittiness of fate, but who knows. But alas, ladies and gentlemen, is that the only reason why I made this video? It's just to be like, there's rewards, what could they be? Gah. No. Like I said, this is an update from like me in Genshin Impact, and I had a stream a couple days ago where I was not the most happy. I just found out that Ganyu was even further away, maybe, possibly, who knows, and we're getting maybe, possibly, who knows, a 3rd rerun of a character that we've already had, whilst there's other characters that we've still yet to have another rerun for. So, a little bit peeved. Things could change. A little bit peeved. And ultimately, this is the thing. Like this, a lot of this, what just happened this week, is what the straw that broke the camel's back, which the whole thing I was talking about at the beginning, and that is leading into, I do not think, like for me personally, I find this is like a nice time because I look around and I'm around people who are who are feeling the same way I am, which is kind of like a rather like a unhappiness with the game. But I worry that others' unhappiness is going to be sated by, here's a cosmetic flappy wings, which you'll barely ever see. And here's some Primo Gems that are barely enough to get anything good in the game. Still, by the way, I'm taking into account the like other login rewards. You know, I'm taking that into account too. And if people are just like, all is forgiven, and then they turn around and walk away, to me, I'm gonna be still standing there in the fucking group whilst everyone's leaving, and I'm like, God damn it! Because to me, ladies and gentlemen, the biggest problem within Genshin, to me right now, is that we are this far into the game, which is a year, and there is still nothing replayable. There is still no end game, basically. There is nothing for you to continuously do and to have reasons for doing it. And to me, that is put on such a like huge blech when there is no character, like the one thing in Genshin that seemingly was the thing that people clicked eventually, which was, it seems like the new content in Genshin, the new gameplay content is the new characters, which is convenient because that's how Genshin makes the most money. So maybe they're worried if they add an endgame, they won't get so many people fighting for the only content there is to play, which is character. And that's why they hedge their bets on like, okay, well, what if you just invest a ton of money into this story and like this quick, like moment to moment selling you these characters so you can see these characters in different ways, so they can become cute, so they can become more three-dimensional, so that people want them more. But yet, there is still relatively nothing besides Spiral Abyss and maybe artifact grinding that is the endgame content. And to me, like, I don't know, like, if it hasn't happened yet, if they haven't added endgame content yet, I don't know when they're ever gonna add it. I don't know when we're ever gonna have more than like 5 minutes or 10 minutes to play. And also, like, to me, and again, this is the thing I think that breaks everybody's heart who wants more. And there are some people who are like, I have no time to begin with. I can do none of it. So why would I want more shit to do? Yeah, I'd rather just buy a character, follow them, see some story stuff, and then leave. But for everyone else, I think it's heartbreaking when you see things like there's co-op in this game, and when it's working, it's fun. When you completely have nothing to do anymore, it's not fun. It falls apart immediately, but it's a cool thing. It's like the bones of this game are really good. But this is my thing, is I think the money that they are making from the things like characters and whatnot are going to be the thing that completely kills the game, basically kills its potential, because they're worried that by adding endgame, maybe people will feel less incentivized to buy the gameplay that is characters. Maybe by by only putting story in there, they're just leveraging the desire to buy characters more. And ultimately, you're sitting there like, I mean, man, I just want something to do that is not chests. Like, that's something that's always weird to me. I was like, they give us the same thing that they've always given us, which is there's a finite group of players who like running around, exploring, and getting chests. But the players, which I would bet my life that they're the majority of players, like the combat. Even if you like exploring, I'm assuming if it was just an exploration game, you would go play any other game like Journey, or some other weird fucking just look around and look at the beautifulness of the world. But there's a gameplay aspect in this game. There's characters that have talents, abilities, and seeing them flashy abilities all around is relevant to most people. So yeah, just like for me personally, because this is just like my dumbass talking, the whole Ganyu thing really fucked me up. Like, that was the thing where I was like, at least if I have like Ganyu to look forward to, I know that I'm going to be able to like get her, build her up, make a team around her, maybe like fuck around, try some different like artifact comps, could grind that out, and it becomes content. But then when you don't have that, it just becomes a complete like, and it's in the, like, dude, I am very, very deep into the leak weirdness. As far as I know, man, there's nothing in terms of endgame. It's just characters and it's just a story. That is it. And it's not to say that that's bad. Like, I love the story. I'm a big fan. People didn't like Ball's story. I love Ball's story. I thought it was fucking wonderful. She's like a weirdo otaku. Love that. But well, she's not, but she's like a whatever. Anyways, point being, I liked it a lot. So it's not that I'm not enjoying that. It's just that we have had so much story. We are fucking good for story. We are okay. We have enough. Okay? This whole fucking Inazuma thing was 99% story. As well as, yes, there was running around and hunting for chests and fighting some samurai. Yes. And there was some cool new artifact domain. That's fun. That's at least something for endgame. I shouldn't dissuade that. There is some tiny bits of artifact grind that is endgame, but it is nerfed entirely by resin. And we talked about this on stream of like, and to me, I don't think by you giving players an endgame or a thing to do that is slightest bit worth doing is going to nerf the sales for characters, because that's some place where you can use those characters to perform and to do cool things and to unravel and to build teams around and to do all that. In fact, I think it would incentivize people buying. But I think MiHoYo is in a state of they're making so much money to where they're like, let's just not fuck this up. Let's just not shake the boat and throw the golden goose off of the ship, because if we do, we're fucked. And I think that's the place they're in. The only thing I don't think they realize is their game is on fire, kind of. where they're like, so many people are like, I'm waiting, I'm holding out hope. Golly Jill Willikers, just wait until it happens. That hasn't happened yet. What the fuck is happening? And sorry, what I was gonna say beforehand was we talked about this, about like how it wouldn't need to be an insane endgame. Like one of the things that I would love to pieces is for there to be a replayable anything. It could be a dungeon, but I want some place where I can just like shred enemies. I can just go in there and farm a dungeon or whatever. It does not matter. Just farm a thing where it's a bunch of new enemies all combined together, and you're just going through it and farming them out, knocking them dead. If you want to throw in some other side like mechanics, sure. But ultimately, I would just want like a fight club. And now, but the thing is you cannot just have a place that's just empty and void of killing things. That's the Spiral Abyss. It's just a giant battle arena where you get nothing besides Primo Gems on your first clear. Where to me, I would rather there be like a 0.5 or whatever % chance for the enemies that I'm killing on repeat to drop whatever their special mask or like a thing is. Because you know it's not fun? Jumping around the map a bunch of times, teleporting this waypoint, like fucking hoofing it across the map to kill this enemy type and then that enemy type. It's not a good time. When you've done it twice, you're done. 2 days in a row, it's not fun after that. What would be fun is an onslaught of enemies where you can test your build so that you can grind them down to paste and you can collect the resources. But here's the thing. The biggest problem within a lot of Genshin is it's not like there's not things to do. You could just do Spiral Abyss on repeat over and over, and you guessed it, over again. The problem is that you need to have incentive to do it. Meaning, and this is what I talked to you guys about in stream, especially when we were getting into Inazuma, I thought, wouldn't it be cool if there was like a classic Japanese shrine where you would throw in this like random enemy like farmable material, whatever it's called, a Hilichurl mask, whatever. You throw that in, and you have a base chance of getting something out in return. It could be like 1,000 Primo Gems. It could be, it could be 1,000 Mora. It could be 5 Primo Gems if you're really lucky. It's a super low chance to get that. And maybe you could cash in 20 like gifts. You could like give 20 times to this shrine. Of course, it would be capped similar to the Alchemist's Cauldron. On how much you need to give a good amount so that you need to farm this event or this like end game activity in order to be able to supply this giving to this benevolent god or whatever, and you would get random rewards back that you have no idea what there could be. It could be anything from a blue weapon. It could be anything from Primo Gems that are fucking nothing. It could be from some more, but it could be experience books. But here's the thing: every time you keep giving to this thing, it starts decreasing the amount of rewards you could get. So it could give you even less Primo Gems, it could give you even less more, it could give you even less experience books. And then it caps out around 20 times, or maybe 30 times, but you should definitely stop at 20 because it's just not worth your resources past that point. And at least that's something to do. And that wouldn't give people, because it seems like MiHoYo is really not into getting people into their game at all. Like they want people to slowly progress, be a part of it, get hooked on the tiny bit of effort each day it takes, rather than having people full send it and get burnt out on the game, which I understand. But I think this would be something like in combination with doing your resin grinding. Also, by the way, this could not be hindered by resin. Because yeah, to me the only reason why I capped it is because you still have your resin to burn every day, you still have your dailies to do every day, and now you have this thing to do more or less within the week, as well as your city reputation things just to get the Mora. So it would cumulatively start building up over time. Anyways, that's my want, but I just want anything for endgame wise. And the more I play this game, the more I feel like right now I'm trying to look for another game. I'm very excited for Far Cry to come out. I'm very excited for I like Tales of Arise a lot. I'm waiting for another big RPG-like game, not to jump ship, man, but I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what as much as I like Genshin, and I know that there's certain people who are busy as shit. I don't think you have to add something that is so undeniably valuable to do at endgame that would make you feel like if I didn't do this, if I didn't grind 3 hours, I'm fucked. I don't want that. I don't think anybody really wants that. People just want something to do and some small reason to do it. So it's not just farming the Spiral Abyss over and over and again just to see if you can get a better time, because you get nothing from it, and it's a lot of effort for nothing in return. Whereas if it could give you a couple more or a couple experience books or maybe even Primo Gems, just a small chance of that, it'd be worth doing. Because of course, as most things in Genshin, it builds up over time. But yeah, basically, I don't know, man. I'm happy with the fact that we're looking seemingly more anniversary rewards. I feel like, to me, that is not why I was holding my pitchfork. That is not why I was sitting here like, what the fuck? Not to say that I don't agree with everyone should get a sizable reward, especially with how much the people have been giving to the game, how much people have been advertising the game by playing it and telling their friends. Like, that's the thing. People say that free to play. I've heard this weird argument where like free to plays have no room to talk. I'm not free to play, and I think that's absolute nonsense, because free to play, it's like you're not in a vacuum. It's not like you have never talked to anyone about Genshin. It's not like you haven't liked a video of Genshin Impact which was relevant and or helpful to somebody, which helped aid people in playing the game. So fuck those people who think you don't have a place to speak. It's absolutely incorrect. Just because you're not giving, again, you could be, if you interacted, if you helped with anything in this game, if you made fan art of it, if you communicated with your friend about it, that's the kind of advertising that most companies would kill for. And that is the reason why they would kill for it, is because it's fucking insanely valuable. If you can somehow get a community to be so excited about a game to where they're sharing it, talking about it, making stuff for free, then that is insanely valuable. It has a direct feedback loop to why this game was so successful. It's a good game. It's not billions of dollars good, dude. What the fuck? Okay? There's games that are fucking stacked, like The Witcher and shit. Like, fucking hell. Yeah, and like Skyrim and whatnot, which had like 300 hours of gameplay in it. And mod. Now, with that being said, there are events in Genshin, which is nice. Gives you something to do. I think cumulatively, a year in, we probably have a good bit of hours invested. But still, I don't think that whole argument that free-to-plays don't have a voice is not right. I think I spent probably $140 in the game. Now, I know that's not $2,000 or whatever some people have spent. But sure as shit, that's more than I've spent on just about any other game. So, yeah. Anyways, and there's thousands of me out there. That's the thing. So, yeah. Regardless, yes, I feel like I hope this just is not just Mihoyo being like, oh, you guys wanted rewards? Here's the rewards. It's like, no. It wasn't just the rewards. It was the fact that you're not communicating with us about how fucking broken and non-powerful Yoimiya is. It's a frustration about how certain things work, how Electro just feels like inadequate, more or less. At least one of its effects, like Chain Lightning, it's shitty CC or AoE, and yet costs a lot. Anyways, and yeah, just like a bunch of those kinds of things that I'm worried that Mihoyo's gonna be like, okay, we just need to give our player base rewards that are primo gems, just cosmetic, just so that they feel like incentivized to play this thing. Like, I would be shocked if we got a skin, for like Nin Wong or something, and people were like, oh fuck, Nin Wong's on the next banner, better fucking go wish for Nin Wong. So it's constantly a snake eating its own tail, basically. Anyways, but I hope that Mihoyo actually does communicate well with us, especially with how again, it's like the whole leaking purge thing has happened. Leaks have dried up significantly. Most YouTube channels that cover leaks have receded greatly, and what has happened? Seems like the community, with the feeling of unrest and not knowing the future, has fucking panicked. A great deal, because again, same analogy, is you're going towards a fucking waterfall, and you have no idea how deep it is. You have no idea. For all you know, what goes beyond the waterfall is a brand new lush area that's beautiful, and it's a little dip, and then boom, you're there, baby. You're cooking. But if you have no idea that waterfall's there, you're just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna jump ship because there's nothing here, or what is there is super not to my liking, so I'm gonna go jump ship, and then it's hard to get people back in. So yeah, I don't know. It's just like a perfect storm of not the right rewards. I'm not excited for the future at all. I'm super, like, I almost feel like I'm given up with the extent of the content in the game. Will we ever have endgame content? Will we ever be able to play for more than 30 minutes, 20 minutes maybe at that? Will the events ever, the events have been actually pretty okay. I don't mind the events. It's just like the events are like, people act like the events are supposed to be the end game, which they're not. And also at least they don't feel that way. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, sorry to talk your ear off. I just want to let you guys know how I'm feeling. By the way, still gonna cover the game, still like the game. It's just like, to me, I used to love the game, and it's just crazy how over time it just feels like you're like, man, do I need to look for a better partner? Because I feel like there are better partners out there who aren't out there spending my money and shit. God damn. Maybe I'm the problem. I don't know. It could totally be the case. I'm sure there's some people out there who are like, I love this game and it's perfect. How could you? And I'm like, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I, for one, am not in that boat. So maybe I just should die alone. Fair enough. Anyways. But ladies and gentlemen, yeah, let me know what you guys think. What do you guys feel? Do you guys feel like all you really do want is just the anniversary rewards and it's not like other things in combination with the way things have panned out? Because to me, I'm standing here with you guys not because necessarily of the anniversary rewards, but because of the fact that I really want Mihoyo to be more vocal about why they're doing the things that they're doing. And also for them to address the bigger things and to have a good answer for why they're not doing things about them. Like maybe they could be like, well, Yoimiya is like the way she is because there's a character that is going to directly feed off of the way she plays, maybe possibly in the future. You're like, oh, okay, it sucks, you gotta wait a little bit to get the character, but sure. And vice versa for Ball and all that stuff. Although Ball I think is relatively good. I think just Electro is just shitty as in general, or just not as good as other things, of course. But ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you guys do enjoy the rest of your day. Also, I always forget to say this, if you managed to share this video around or a comment, frankly, or like it, thank you, kindly. Means the world. Also, for this one, I actually would genuinely really like to know what you guys think about it. Because I don't know, I feel like I can't wait to see what the next couple rewards are. I just feel like I don't think there'll be any more than like 20 Primo Gems, which some of you guys be like, that's so ungrateful. Or sorry, not 20 pulls. I doubt it'll be, at the end of the day, it will be any more than like 20 to maybe 25 pulls. And to me, I'm like, if people are like, that's amazing, then I'm like, all right, man, I deserve better. I don't know about you, but I deserve better, I feel like. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you guys do enjoy the rest of your day. Subscribe button to my right, as well as 2 videos further that way, or actually maybe to my bottom. It's bottom, but a little over there, I think. Maybe. Who knows? Regardless, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. Hopefully you guys do enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye.